Okay. Man, I do not feel good. Hey guys. Oh, look at that. I was just sitting here talking to myself, chugging a little water because my stomach is on fire. You see this? I did my hair today, and this is how it wants to treat me. I don't have no appreciation for this. I want to cut it, but I'm trying to let it grow back, so the struggle is real. Hello, everybody. Guys, you're here. Look at you, came so quickly. Good evening, good evening. All right. Everybody, yes, I know I was in Facebook jail, guys. So, all right, if you're here, you can hear me. We've got a good connection. Everybody give me a thumbs up so that I know that we're communicating. I'm going to scroll back a bit and see. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if you guys saw my advertisements. So I see some thumbs up. Yes, yes. Hey, y'all. Hey, what's up? Hello. So I wanted to talk to you guys. I really, really hate this hair. I wanted to talk to you guys about, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff going on right now in Rochester. So we're going to talk about some local stuff. And also in the world, we were specifically going to go live to talk about the little boy in Texas. I believe it's Arlington, Texas. Guys, have you followed this? Okay, so his name is Timothy Simpkins, and it's crazy because it was initially heralded it's like a school shooter, and we know that although school shootings happen frequently, and although sometimes black people are shooters, we know that black people don't shoot up schools. That's just not what we do. Movie theaters, schools, like this, we just don't do like the random mass shootings. That's not our bag. So it was being reported that this kid, Timothy Simpkins, had gone to a school in Arlington, Texas, and had shut up the school. And everybody was like, what? It's a black kid. And studies actually came out that said that when there is a school shooter, it's 99.9% not a black person. So what we found out through some research, not through the media, of course, because the media portrays it as there's this crazed black kid on the loose who goes to school with a gun and starts busting off and then gets into his car and leaves and flees and nobody knows what's going on. Guys, the video's on my page. If you didn't see it, it is the post prior to this video right here, I think. I don't know. I've been posting a lot today, so I might be lying. But the video's on my page. And if you watch the video, it is... I've seen some accounts saying that it's actually the little boy Timothy Simpkins fighting the boy that he finally ended up shooting. I don't know if that's true or not, because my understanding is he was bullied by multiple children at the school. But one of the accounts I read said that the boy, so everybody goes, who's who? Well, Timothy is the little boy in the white t-shirt that's literally being thrown around and assaulted and pummeled and called names, and the kid who I was told got shot is the one who's assaulting him. So from what I've read, what happens is Timothy goes to school the other day, and it's like 9:15 in the morning, so it's like school just started. It's 9:15 a.m. and a fight ensues, and he's gotten into several fights with these kids. Guys, when they talk about bullying, sometimes that's people calling names, sometimes that's people calling names online or like internet bullying. This was not that. If you didn't follow this case, they said that he had been bullied repeatedly. There's a video and he got his ass whooped in that video. But in addition to that, they said that he would get robbed. Like he would go to school and they would rob him. They would take his money. They would take his jewelry. He had gone to a private school previously, and he was not a kid who fought. He did not fight back. He just gave them whatever. In the video where he's getting beat up, he literally just covers his head. He doesn't strike back at all. He doesn't respond at all to the attack. It's really, really sad, actually. I couldn't imagine watching my child get beat like that and not interceding on their behalf, going to the school, getting the police. Like, I couldn't imagine. So, in one incident, they actually said that he goes outside and they beat him up. They make him strip naked. They rob him. They take his jewelry, and then they make him walk home naked. And then they post that to social media. The video that I posted, you guys can see it because somebody videoed him getting beat up like that. And then they posted it to social media to make fun of him afterwards, to talk about how he doesn't even fight back. So this is like extreme bullying, guys, right? So what happens? Timothy brings a gun to school this particular day. When they start their shit, he takes the gun out. He shoots one kid 4 times. That kid, my understanding, is 15 years old and is in critical condition. Timothy is charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Texas. I looked up, now guys, this is not legal advice. I'm not even a lawyer in Texas, okay? But I did look up the law in Texas so that we could have this conversation and so that I would be prepared for it. It indicates that aggravated assault in the second degree is a felony. It's a second degree felony in Texas, and it carries a prison term of 2 to 20 years in state prison. So Timothy's 18 years old, and he is now spending the next 20 years of his life in prison, so that he would be eligible for a release when he was 38. He was an honor roll student. He was an athlete. He did not fight. He did not get in trouble. He was slated to be an engineer. In addition, while you're considering all this information that I'm giving you, note that Timothy was terrified to go to school. He was depressed. He had reached out to help for this bullying situation he was experiencing, to the administrators, to the police, to the principal, to his teachers, to everyone that he could talk to. No one had helped him, and his father was actually beaten to death. So he was literally terrified. He was scared for his life. Now, I say all of that to you because now many of you have actually seen the videos and heard about the bullying, and you realize this isn't what you thought it was. This isn't a school shooter situation at all. It's nothing like that. Most of you at this point realize that this kid was terrified. He was getting bullied and he was standing up for himself. Some people actually say, wow, this is crazy, because if this was a situation with the police, they would have been much more than justified in responding in this manner, but this kid has to go to prison. I did look up the law with respect to justification or self-defense as well, guys. So in Texas, they refer to it as self-defense, and Texas is a stand your ground state. So this is kind of interesting, right? What I read indicated he was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault. It didn't say anything about him being charged with a weapon. I assume there are going to be criminal charges for him bringing a gun to a school, and I assume that he probably is not registered to carry a gun. So there may be some charges with respect to him having a weapon that he's not registered to own. I don't know. Again, I don't know the law in Texas. But with respect to the 3 counts of aggravated assault, that's interesting to me, because I think that he does have a colorable justification defense or defense for self-defense. And basically under the law, in Texas it's different because it's a stand your ground state, but it says that if a person is meeting you with force, then you have a right to meet that force with force, right? And so in Texas, even if somebody is taking your property, you may have a right to use force to defend your property. The question is, what type of force do you use? And you're supposed to meet the force that you're getting with the type of force that you're giving. So in this particular incident, I think because this guy had been beat up so many times, he had been robbed so many times, I don't know that anyone would think it was unreasonable to bring a gun. And I want to open this up now to you guys, kind of, so that we can have a conversation. I don't know, this is like, I feel like I'm talking to myself, but what do you think? He's at school, and the law says you can't be the initial aggressor, right? So somebody has to start with you. You can't start with them. You're not the initial aggressor. Somebody who's attacked you previously, who's made you strip, who's put videos of you on social media naked, walking home after they've taken your belongings and jewelry, they start to fight you, and you're just tired today, and you pull out a gun. If you're in the jury, would you think that he was right or wrong? Nobody died, guys. The person who got shot, my understanding, is in critical condition. But if that person who got shot started it, what do you think? Hey guys, let's see. Let's look at comments. Got hello. I saw you on Court TV. I did not see me on Court TV, but welcome anyway. Looking. You guys don't want to talk? Hey girl, hey. Stomach is burning so bad. I hope you tried your skincare products. You know what? I actually did try the soap because I had ran out of my other soap, and I wasn't using it because it was so pretty. There's ice in the way. Guys, my stomach burns so bad. I don't know what the hell is wrong with it. I've been really going through it the last couple of days, so yeah, you guys are not saying anything? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think there's going to be a really interesting argument for whoever his defense attorney is that he was completely justified, that he was traumatized, actually, that he was probably suffering from PTSD, that he was scared to go to school. There might have been some type of psychotic break even when he brought a gun that day. I would be arguing all types of crazy stuff with respect to that kid because the way he got beat, I think most jurors would be incredibly sympathetic. And I think that most people would think, hey, if that was my kid, if that was I could have. His mother spoke, and I don't know if you guys saw the video that I posted, but his mother spoke and basically said that her son had been bullied and she was not justifying him bringing a gun to school, which I thought was really interesting because she was like, he was wrong. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have brought a gun. But no, that he was not a thug. He was not a bad kid. He was not, trying to be violent. He was not a school shooter. He was trying to defend himself and to stand up for himself. She was incredibly articulate. She was incredibly humble, and he's out on bail, which I think is incredibly wonderful. But I can only imagine what her family have been going through this entire time that this has been happening this many times. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You guys don't want to talk about this. I don't know why, because you guys said you wanted to talk about it. So that's kind of weird. It's the reason we're going live about it. But my own personal opinion is that he was totally justified in shooting at the guy that was attacking him. If that is accurate, guys. Again, I don't know if the person in the video is the person who got shot. This is all coming out little by little, and this is the information that I was able to obtain prior to going live tonight. But I think that he has a pretty colorable, a decent case for justification. In fact, there was just a case in Buffalo, guys. If you're local, there was just a case in Buffalo. Two local attorneys, shout out to Teo Seguenza and to James Egan. They had a client who was a male, and I believe he shot his girlfriend twice with a rifle, and I believe she was unarmed, and he was acquitted on justification grounds. Now, I didn't follow it. I don't know anything about the case, but I'm just saying to you that there is a real plausible defense, particularly in this case where you're talking about a person who had been beat up several times and who had been attacked and who had a reasonable fear, because of the times that he had been attacked previously. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say on him, guys. Next, I'm going to turn, just because I said I would talk about it still, to this local case, Family Dollar on Main Street. A lot of you have been posting about the Family Dollar on Main Street. I don't know, my phone's going crazy. A lot of you have been posting about the Family Dollar on Main Street because there was an incident last night. If you are unaware, it might not have been last night, actually, honestly, at this point. I'm not sure. But there was an incident at Family Dollar, guys. There was a 24-year-old man. His name was Simran Gordon, and he was alleged to be robbing the Family Dollar at gunpoint. From the reports I read, I'm sorry, I'm so gross. I wanted this candy so bad. From the reports I read, the police received a call from a Family Dollar employee who was hiding inside of the Family Dollar, and he indicated that Mr. Gordon had the manager hostage at gunpoint. This is according to Spectrum News. Now, I don't know how you hold somebody hostage if the only other person who works in Family Dollar is hidden somewhere calling the police. That's not a hostage situation, but whatever. I didn't hear the 911 call. Supposedly, he has the manager at gunpoint. So, the police get this call. They go to Family Dollar. They respond. From what I see, it sounds like they run in, guns blazing, and they say a shootout ensues. The report from Spectrum says that when the police run in with their guns out, Mr. Gordon runs away as well. He stops the hostage situation, so to speak. He takes his gun off of the Family Dollar manager. He begins to flee from the police. The police begin to pursue him. During the chase, shots are fired. Not one entity that I've seen tells you who fires shots. We don't know if Mr. Gordon shoots towards the police or if the police start shooting towards Mr. Gordon first. That's unclear. But from the way it's reported, the police seem to know from the outset that he's armed with a gun. Again, this is the media. I don't know. They be lying. So then Spectrum goes on to say that the police shoot Mr. Gordon and he is pronounced dead at the scene. They then say that Interim Police Chief Cynthia Harriet Sullivan says that he is involved in 3 other homicides. So I read this and I'm like, what? Guys, I believe that that's a lie. I don't believe that the interim police chief said that. Now, I know that she's resigned. If you didn't know, she's resigned, and we can talk about that a little later, perhaps. But she's already resigned. Her time is up. She's all done with us. But even with her resignation pending, I don't believe for 1 second that she said that this man was involved in 3 other homicides, because let's just think for a minute. So RPD knows that there's a person on the loose that's involved in 3 homicides, and they don't do anything about it. They just let him run around town. Okay, yeah, that's not happening. Also, what happened to the term allegedly? He's allegedly involved in 3 other homicides? No, we're just gonna just convict him and everything. Like, after we kill him, we're gonna just convict him in the media with no trial, with no even arrest. Oh, okay. So, I don't think she said that. I think that the people at Spectrum said that, because I think that the local media in Rochester is irresponsible when it comes to reporting on Black and brown people. They constantly are inaccurate. They constantly are inflammatory. They constantly gaslight. They definitely focus on Black and brown people more often. They report things that are incorrect. They don't fix their inaccuracies, and it's just additional racism and white supremacy, which is really annoying, and I hate that we allow that in Rochester, but I don't believe that she said that at all. But anyways, the allegations are that he was a suspect in 3 other murders in the Rochester area. There's been absolutely nothing to back that up. I've seen no facts. I've seen no evidence. I've seen nothing about where, when, who, how they came to that conclusion. That's just something that they keep putting in the local media to poison you. Is the fact that the police have now killed the 4th Rochester police. That was the fourth man that the Rochester Police Department have killed this year. It's October. That tells you that once every 2 months, RPD is killing someone. And to be honest with you, there was a guy that was killed by the troopers that they're not counting. So I believe that that's the 5th person that has been killed by some type of police officer in Monroe County or New York State this year in the Rochester area. So guys, that should be concerning to you. 5 men have been killed by the police locally this year. And that's October. You should be terrified. If you live here, if you're a Black man, if you have Black children, if you love Black men at all, any Black men, that should be concerning to you. I'm not going to pretend that this was a super sympathetic situation. Supposedly, this man was in the middle of an armed robbery when this occurred. So obviously, that has its own negative connotation with it. However, I feel compelled to remind you that armed robbery is punishable by 5 to 25 years in state prison. It's not punishable by death. We don't kill people for robbing family dollars at gunpoint here. That's not what we do in this country. We don't execute people. We try them. And so guys, are the comments turned off? Like, what's happening? You guys just don't love me and don't want to talk to me? Somebody say something. Whoa. See, look at it. And now it looks like there are comments all of a sudden. I don't even know how this happens. But yeah, so I was wondering where the hell you guys were. But so, Pamela Robinson said, I vaguely recall her saying something to that effect, maybe 2 murders. Guys, certainly he may be a suspect in other cases, but obviously they didn't have sufficient evidence to make an arrest. And if this person has committed 3 murders and he's a suspect in all 3, you would think that you could conduct an investigation such that you could go pick him up, right? That makes sense to me. Also, I don't understand why, if you didn't ever do your job in terms of conducting an investigation to make an arrest prior to killing him, why after you murder him, you do an entire smear campaign and start talking about how he has bodies that you've never actually convicted him of having or even charged him with having. Like, why? I'm very unhappy with this hairstyle. I'm tired of talking about it too, though. Why is that relevant? He's deceased now. Are you going to make an arrest? Are you going to, now that he's deceased, try to get his DNA? Are you, what is the point of making that statement at this point? It was never out before, so it's not like for any peace of mind or solace for the families. I don't see any point in releasing that he was a suspect in 3 homicides. No, we're commenting. Oh, you know what? Let me turn. I bet you that's what it was. I bet you. Now I'm frozen. I bet you that's what it was, guys. I bet you it's that. I had my Wi-Fi on, and my Wi-Fi is really crappy. So I just turned it off, and I'll probably be able to see your comments in real time now. I actually see somebody posting, now you're frozen. So, all right, let's see. I'm gonna try to look at comments again. We have lots of comments. It was probably my Wi-Fi, guys. Yeah, I think it was totally my Wi-Fi being sucky, and I didn't see any of your comments. And I'm like, what the hell? Why is nobody talking to me? Who stepped down? The interim police chief, Cynthia Harriet Sullivan, has submitted her resignation. So she's all done, guys. She stepped down. Sure, I'll come on your podcast. We have lots of comments. Something is wrong. Now you're frozen. Forever paying for our people of color. Simply because he had a gun justifies his demise. We mustn't put ourselves in dangerous situations. No, Terrence, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. And we mustn't hold ourselves to ridiculous standards because white people told us to. And we are secretly hating ourselves and being conduits of white supremacy. No, having a gun doesn't justify your demise. The police had guns too. They didn't get killed. What the hell are you talking about? Having a gun means you go to state prison. It doesn't mean that you get murdered. You guys really have to work on this. I understand that society has taught you to think this way, but you're wrong. You're wrong. And you shouldn't hold black people to ridiculous standards that the Constitution doesn't subscribe to. Having a gun does not mean you get killed. Not in this country. Yeah. Yeah, people are getting out of the way. I mean, I don't know. You're hard pressed to get people to want to work in Rochester in these types of environments, especially people of color. It's dangerous, and you see people around you getting arrested and having their careers ruined, and you're like, hold up. I don't have to work with you guys. I can just go work by myself doing the normal job that I did. You know what I mean? Like, it's all right. Texas gun legislation. Guys, I can't read the comments properly. I don't know what's wrong with them. I'm going to try to just keep up where we picked, or I'm going to try to start where they are now. So, Sergi. Hey, stranger. Hey, Sergi. How you doing? You are the only person's comment. Marquise Pratt Williams said facts, but I have no idea what he's talking about because we're having some type of crazy delay on my Facebook. I'm also really bothered, and you guys don't care. Like somebody just said, oh, well, the fact that he had a gun was enough. I'm really bothered by the police, by the fact that the police have not asserted anywhere that I've seen that he started shooting. Everything I've seen is like, it's unclear who started shooting. Why would it be unclear? Why would the police start shooting at him? We just had a conversation about whether or not this kid was allowed to shoot somebody that had beat him up on several occasions previously. The police come in with guns. They're armed. They're prepared if he does shoot at them to shoot back. Why would they open fire? Why wouldn't they come in with their guns out and say, drop your gun, police freeze, something to that effect? Why would they come in shooting at him? I just told you meet force with force. So because he has a gun, does that mean you shoot him? You meet force with force. He didn't know the police were going to be there. He wasn't like planning their interaction. The police kind of planned the interaction with him. So is he justified if the police started shooting first at shooting back at them? Martha, black people are so conditioned to accept and expect death. Agreed. And to tolerate it and to just be like, yes, that's what I deserved. Deanna, no, it's very unclear and they still haven't released video. Yes, they have indicated that they're going to be releasing redacted body cam footage Got my eyebrows done. Got my lashes done. I think I have like some residual glue. They're going to be releasing redacted body cam footage. They haven't released it yet. They haven't said when they're going to get around to releasing it. And they've already set us up for the fact that they've said they don't know who started the firing. They don't know who fired first. So I'm asking you guys right now, before you see any body-worn camera footage, to look at this critically. Is there a reason that the police should have opened fire? A real reason. A real articulable reason that any other person who wasn't a police officer would have been justified in doing so. Knowing that you could get murdered by police, you shouldn't have a gun attempting to rob an establishment. Terrence, you're right. People shouldn't break the law. Now that you've written this out on a tablet, Moses, perhaps we should fire the police and just write these rules on a wall somewhere. Yes, people shouldn't break the law, but they do, and they're going to. And the reason that we have rules is because we expect law-abiding citizens to follow them. So when criminals behave like criminals, we are not surprised and we don't murder them because we are law-abiding citizens and we said that murder was illegal. You see how that works? You can't say, well, you shouldn't break the law or you deserve to die because I'm going to kill you even though it's illegal to kill you. That doesn't make sense. And I've spoken to you before. I know you're a super, super smart guy. So I think that this is just like some basic brainwashing that has happened to you because that doesn't make sense. The police have to follow the law. We hold the police to higher standards than we hold criminals. Because criminals are fucking criminals, bro. We should expect them to break the law. Like, that's why they're getting in trouble. That's what they do. I'm not going to be like, well, you were stealing, and I'm upset that you were stealing, and you're going to jail for stealing, and like, you were stealing. I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, criminals engage in criminal activity, guys. That's why they're criminals. So to say that the police get to do it too, we're paying the police. The police are at work. There's a difference. If you hate black people, say that. It takes less time. It is hard sometimes to understand people's perspective. Body cam shows everything. Yes, and I'm concerned about why it needs to be redacted, aren't you? They normally release it faster than this when they know they feel justified. I really want to know why there's a possibility that the police open fire. I don't think there should be. I wish you still was a judge. Yeah, sometimes me too, Mocha. Police are able to treat serial and spree killers actively in murderous rages to Burger King when victimizing black people, so I'm sure they are trained to de-escalate Family Dollar robberies. Yes, that is a very good point. If you can shoot up a church with a gun and live, you should be able to rob a store and live. You kind of need a gun to rob a store. You don't really need a gun to go to church. Like, I don't even understand. Like, you lost me, Terrence. I can't wait to help lawbreakers because there are reasons behind it we don't always know. Yes, there are hateful people, but most are victims of circumstances. Okay, I'm going to try to scroll again. I'll probably get all kinds of Karens upset by saying this, but the way police keep justifying killing black and brown humans is making me sick. I'm so ashamed of the white entitlement throughout all. Why are they stealing? Look at inflation. Look at what is happening. The juxtaposition putting black people in our lives against commodities and properties, equal concerns. Whew, Martha just said a whole mouthful right there. It is absolutely insane to me, guys, because at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about, right? This guy, irrespective of the fact that he did have a gun, he was alleged to have a gun. I don't want to say because I wasn't there, but he was alleged to have a gun. He was alleged to be robbing the store. But what was he taking at the end of the day? If his robbery would have been successful, right, he wouldn't have hurt anyone. He wouldn't have killed anyone. He would have taken property and maybe money. And now he's dead. Rather than give him the property and or money that he intended to take. And am I saying that people should steal? No, not at all. But I'm saying, since when do we live in a country where we say, well, he's really not allowed to steal and he's dead and that's his fault? We don't kill people over stealing stuff, guys. And I'm so sad that you guys are starting to act like that's normal or acceptable. We are slowly but surely watching our rights just completely erode. And we're sitting silently, or we're obsessing about insane things that are irrelevant. We are we are sitting as the GOP pretends that they're not going to pay the debt that we have, and the economy is on the brink of disaster daily, and we're thinking that we're going to be thrust into depression, and everybody's flipping out because Facebook's down for 10 hours. Like, they don't have anything else to do. We all have mad other stuff to do, right? But we are distracting ourselves because life is getting pretty real. And I'm saying to you that get away from the media attention and the craziness that there was a shootout and he has 3 bodies, and just step back for a minute and think about the fact that a man went into Family Dollar to rob it to take property, and he's dead today. So that Family Dollar, which is a multi-million dollar corporation, could keep their property. That's insane. And it's insane that that's becoming normalized. I love the commercials that said it's priceless, life is priceless. Where the protest at? That's all I'm saying. We should have never stopped. These behaviors are becoming the norm. Guys, I actually am down for protesting. I was there. You know that I went, and I'd be down to protest again. But I don't think it's true that we should have never stopped. When we protested, a lot of people got arrested. A lot of people got hurt. A lot of people, you may not know this may not have happened, but I represented people on the back end. A lot of people jeopardized their jobs, jeopardized their livelihoods. And in some instances, those protests definitely brought attention, which is always the point of a protest, but they didn't necessarily bring about changes. And I think it's important that a protest do both things. So I personally don't think that the protest should continue if we're not protesting for a specific intended outcome. And I think perhaps that's something that should be revisited. I think the issue is we're hard pressed, particularly in Rochester, to get people to unify even for the most perfect of victims, right? Even for the people that are most empathetic. When a 9-year-old girl is maced by RPD, you have a hard time getting people to be upset and to come forward and to do something about it. So when RPD kills a 24-year-old man, and they say that he was potentially involved in murders, and they say that he was robbing a store at gunpoint, are you guys actually going to get up and march for him? I don't think so. I'm not being rude and I'm not being funny, but if we look historically at what we do, we need people to be perfect in order for us to value their lives here, especially if they're Black people. In order for us to take them seriously, in order for them to be worthy of mental health treatment, in order for them to be able to have substance abuse issues, in order for them to be worthy of second chances or forgiveness or any type of grace or compassion, they have to be absolutely perfect. Or white. But one of the two is definitely a requirement. Protests work within a system. It doesn't upend and demolish that system. Totally agree. Yeah. Deanna, I agree. The 9-year-old. And again, people wanted to talk about her mother. People did not want to come out to support her. There was an 11-year-old that was handcuffed and arrested. We protested for her. The turnout was not great. So, unfortunately, even though this is the 5th man that has been murdered by the police in this area this year, this is not a man that you guys are willing to stand up for. I don't know what it's going to take for us to say, this is it. It's not acceptable. It's too much. We're not going to tolerate this. This is our tax dollars, guys. Like, not for nothing, but I'm disgusted that I've paid for the police to kill 5 men this year. I'm absolutely livid that I have paid for the police to kill 5 Black men this year. Are you serious? I don't want to spend my tax dollars like that. Do you know how many potholes there are in my neighborhood? Like, there's so many other things that that money could have gone to. I would much rather invest in the schools, invest in the kids, invest in even those damn scooters. I don't want to pay the police to kill people. People are not as responsive to violence against women and children. I don't know, guys. So I just wanted to. The officers are always on leave, guys. If you look at my stories, actually, the other 4 men are posted. Damn it, I don't even. I don't know all of their names, so I don't want to do it. But the other 4 men are posted, and what happened with them in their cases, if there ever were cases, are posted as well. And yeah, this is, well, I should say the other 3 men, because he's the 4th that RPD were involved with. There was one that was involved with the trooper as well. They're bothering me, guys. So if you're interested, you can go take a look and see. But yes, he's the 4th one. The other 3 people are listed in my stories. One of them, I believe the last one, was presented to the grand jury. That was the one in front of the Open Door Mission when the police were dispatched for a man who had a knife and he was threatening to kill himself. The police got there and were like, drop your knife. He didn't drop his knife, so the police killed him instead. They didn't want him to kill himself. They wanted to kill him for him, I guess. I don't know, guys. Make it make sense. But so that one was presented to a grand jury, and the grand jury found that the police were justified. It's concerning on so many levels, and we all have to get involved if we're going to be able to change it. Oh, thank you, Danielle. I love you too. Yes, that was the one with the troopers, Deanna, the one with the violation warrant. The troopers were serving a warrant on a parolee, and they said he had a gun again. It was unclear as to whether or not he actually was using that gun in any capacity or if he just had a gun. Because, guys, here's the thing that I want you to think about, right? Like, think critically for a second if you always want to come for these people and say, like, well, why didn't you comply? Why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? If you're sitting at home minding your business and parole comes to execute a warrant that you had no idea was in existence, right? You're chilling, you're doing whatever. Here's parole. Boom, 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 boom. We have a warrant. You have a gun on you when parole gets there because you didn't know that they were coming. You're like, oh shit, let me get up and go get rid of this gun real quick. Parole busts in your house. They don't give you a chance to get rid of your gun because they're type disrespectful like that. They don't give you any type of privacy when you're on parole at all whatsoever. And they do not care about your privacy rights. In fact, you have none, literally. You probably signed a paper when you got placed on parole saying you have no privacy rights and we'll bust in your shit whenever we want to and search it. So they do. Bam, they bust in. And you are just trying to pull this gun out of your waistband or wherever you have it so you can toss it in some general direction that is nowhere near you before they come in and light your ass up. Because you know the police are going to shoot you if they see you with a gun. You're not trying to shoot anyone. You're not trying to flee. You're not trying to do anything besides get the gun off of your person. And when the police bust in, they see you and the gun is what? Now it's in your hand because you're trying to throw it. So what do? They shoot you 17 billion times. Is that fair? Now, guys, I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't know what happened in this incident, right? I don't know what happened at all. But I'm saying if you are in a situation where you have an illegal gun and the police approach you, what can you do besides try to get rid of it? Are you saying that you're supposed to completely ignore your Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate yourself and say, excuse me, I have a gun that you know that you're not legally allowed to have because we have a constitutional right against having to do that? What are you supposed to do in that instance, guys? What's the right answer? They said a gun was pulled by the backseat passenger. That's actually a different case. I believe that was the young man named Mark over by me, where they said, and they said that he had a gun. Then they said it was brandished. But again, if you have a gun and the police stop you and the police see the gun, right? Because if I have a gun in my waistband and the police see the gun in my waistband, then they can just shoot me because I have a gun. I had it when you stopped me. I don't know effing magic, guys. I'm not David Blaine. If there's a gun in my waistband when you stop me, I don't know what you think I'm going to be able to do with it between the time you pull my car over and you walk to the side of it and start shining your flashlight on me. There's a gun in my waistband. You can totally arrest me for criminal possession of a weapon, but you can't effing shoot me because there's a gun in my waistband. That wasn't a threat to you. I didn't know that I was even going to see you when I put the gun in my waistband. It wasn't here for you, Mr. Officer. It was here for the same people your gun's on your fucking hip for. Like, what are you talking about? So, in that instance, yes, that is true. They had reports of, they had ShotSpotter go off somewhere in the area, and they said that was the only car in the area. But again, I would argue that that's not sufficient probable cause. ShotSpotter went off. You don't have a description. You don't have a description of people. You don't have a description of the vehicle. Don't pull my clients over unless you have reasonable suspicion to believe that they've committed some type of crime. Don't pull my clients over without probable cause that something's going on. Don't stop their car. Don't bother them. Why you know what I mean? You don't just go start. And I don't think that's enough to me. I mean, obviously it's something you litigate, but I don't think that's enough personally. Let's be clear, the police murder because they can, not for any of the reasons stated to the press or that the press state on their own. I do think that that's true, guys. I don't think anybody gets up and says, I can't wait to go kill somebody today. No, that's not true. I do think some people are crazy, and I do think some of the police officers are rowdy. And I do think some of the police officers enjoy the combative part of the job for sure. So I guess I can say that. But I do think that in most instances where there's a shooting, they get scared and they overreact out of fear. I think that when people are afraid, they react. And you get what you get. You sometimes get a good reaction. You sometimes get a bad reaction. I can rip my eyeball out and throw it across the room in like 10 more seconds. I agree, but that's how they justified it. Yes. I do know that in every incident, basically, the police were fined for killing people. And they usually are, guys, which is another reason that you have to get involved by doing things like grand jury so that you can lord over those presentations and make different decisions. They had no reason to stop them outside of that. Agreed. I disagree. I trained under a lot of the training they receive. We need you as a police chief. Y'all want me to have every job in Rochester. You know what, guys? Look, I'll tell you a little secret. Just me, you, and all of you that are here, actually. Someone asked me if I would apply for PAB, and I've been considering it. And I think I would think that was a cool job, but I do not know that I'm willing to close my practice. So that's a little bit of a struggle. I really, 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 really like having my practice, and I like doing the work. And I like that. I don't like that I'm one of few Black defense attorneys here, but I like that there's an option to have an attorney of color do defense work for you, because there's not very many. And most, as I would say, like I said today, I think 98% of my clients are Black men and 99% of my clients are men. So I think that it's really nice to have the option to have an attorney that you don't have to code switch for, that understands you, that can be compassionate to your life and your culture without you educating them on the things you say or the slang you use I think it's a really, really big asset to the community. And unfortunately, we just don't have a lot. We don't have a lot of defense attorneys of color here at all. We don't have a lot of criminal attorneys of color here. We don't have a lot of attorneys of color, actually, but we definitely don't have ones that want to be involved in criminal practice. Which, I kind of understand, because I do feel like my career sometimes triggers my trauma. Sometimes my clients are looking to me to be a savior. Sometimes they're going through things that remind me of my own childhood or of relationships I've had you know what I mean? Like sometimes my job triggers my trauma. And so I can see why sometimes people of color don't want to do defense work because it's too close. PAB isn't where I could be most effective. Martha, well, where do you think I could be most effective? I don't know where the hell I could be most effective. I'm interested if you do. I'm hoping you are open to mentorship. It's very funny. People always talk about mentors. I never had one, guys, and I always wonder if it's a good idea for me to mentor anybody. I have like such strong opinions, and I don't want to break anybody's kids. I would actually teach them how to do helpful things. I think I might go get a haircut tomorrow. I don't know why this looks like this. Maybe I'll just Olaplex it. It's 9 o'clock and I'm ready to go to bed. I'm an old lady. I don't know, goddamn gummies. I actually was worried about that, but PAB is supposed to be a community-led type thing, and that's another reason that I was interested in it, because I was like, wow, it would be kind of cool if I was the head of PAB. I think people might be more willing to actually go and make complaints because they would trust the person that they were complaining to take the complaint seriously, actually investigate it, make a recommendation. That's why right. That's what I'm sleepy. That's why I was thinking that PAB might be a cool place to be in terms of garnering a system of trust, if not between the police and the people, right? Then between the people who are responsible for policing the police, until we can get that system of trust in place. Daniela, it's funny. I did consider running for mayor, and I did not want to have to close my practice, and I did not want to have to do the amount of work during COVID that I thought I would have to do to run a mayoral race. So I decided to run for city council instead. And I did actually, guys, I'm about to go to bed. Good night, Ronnie. Thank you. I'm about to go to bed, but let me tell you the story first. I decided to run for city council instead, which was a citywide race, and I did not win city council. And so I was like, oh, well, that's fine. I don't have to leave my job to be city council. And if I couldn't win city council, then I damn sure couldn't have won mayor, because then I would have needed mad more votes, to be the mayor against Malik, who was actually running. But I say that to you guys to say this. Somebody posted today about city council, and several of you have actually inboxed me about city council and asked me, and a lot of you are confused. That's why I said, hold on, let me tell you the story first. I ran as a Democrat for city council, and I could have run under additional lines. Like I could have sought to run as an independent or a working party's family candidate or a Republican or, some other endorsement as well, some other party, but I didn't. I only ran as a Democrat. So when the primary happened in whenever the primary happened, guys, I think maybe it happened in like June. I don't know when the primary happened, but when the primary happened and I was not selected by the Democrats as one of the primary candidates, I essentially lost the election. Now, what you can do, so what that means is my name won't appear on the ballot because I was only running as a Democratic candidate. You won't see my name. Some people, like Byron Brown is doing in Buffalo, run as write-in candidates. And many of you have said to me, run as a write-in candidate, still run a campaign, no. No. Thank you for your support and your belief in me, but no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to continue to run a campaign. I wanted to be here so that you guys had an option if you wanted to vote for me. But I'm not going to run. You didn't pick me. I'm okay. I have a job. If I was to be, because I've been asked this several times, if I was to win as a write-in candidate, yeah, sure, I would go be a city council person. I'm always more than willing to serve you guys. I love you, and I think that I'm the best for you. But I'm not forcing myself on you because I have a job, and if you think somebody else does the job fine, then let them do it, guys. I got plenty of shit to do. Like, no offense, right? But I'm booked and busy already. So I'm willing to do the job because I don't think that the people that are doing it correctly, but I'm not bitter if you don't want me to. So I say all of that to say this. When you go to the polls in November to actually vote, there are going to be candidates there that you're going to see for city council. For example, like Antonia Nicole is running as an independent. She's not going to be listed as a Democrat. I believe she is a Democrat. I don't know, guys, so don't get me to lie. But I believe she is an actual registered Democrat. But you're not going to see her listed on the ballot as a Democrat. If Antonia Nicole is a person that you wanted to vote for the person, not for the party. If you want me to be there, guys, to be honest with you, write-in votes are really kind of a waste. I don't ever encourage anybody to write anyone in because generally you're not going to get enough people to write a candidate in for that candidate to win. I'm not going to hold you. Enough of you could write me in. You guys know me. And if you did, I would go. But I'm not running a campaign at all. I'm not doing it. So do what you like with that information. Let's see. Funny story. I was an independent and I voted for you. Recently, they took my party away. I've not been able to participate in primaries because I'm listed as no party now. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Well, Deanna, I appreciate your vote. I don't think that the independents have a primary, but I'm not sure. I don't know if not enough people voted. I think that's what happens. If not enough people vote in an election, you lose a party designation. But guys, I'm no politician. I don't know all these rules. Don't even get me to lie. I think that if not enough people are registered or not enough registered people vote, you can lose your designation as a party. And I do think that happened to the independent party. Yeah. I do think that happened to the independent party. But I do know that she said she was running as something. So maybe it's independence. Guys, I don't know. I just know that if you want a candidate, vote for the candidate. Don't vote for the party. Because you'll see a lot of times people run as working families and Democrat. And then if they lose Democrat but win working families, they're still on the ballot. So look for the names of the people you want. Or Monroe County, yeah. Look for the names of the people you want. And if you feel incredibly strongly about a candidate, you can always write their name in. Byron Brown, who's the current mayor of Buffalo, lost the primary. And he's running an entirely write-in based campaign. His name's not going to appear. So he's running and he's expecting the people in the cities to come out and write his name in. He's the mayor. He could win a write-in campaign because everybody knows who he is and everyone knows he's running. So it's an interesting time to be alive. Most of the things that normally go one way don't go that way anymore. And it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. DA's office, just don't accept any food, drink, or medical care from anyone you haven't vetted. Guys, I would love to be the DA. Oh my God, talk about, I would love to be the DA. That would be like my freaking dream job. Are you crazy? Do you know the good that you could do? I mean, it would be insane. This would be Rochester would be a completely different place. If you could, and then if I was the DA, I would work with the mayor. This would be a whole different place. Like we would really, because I never really understood. I've never seen a collaboration between the mayor and the district attorney, and I don't know why, other than that I think normally we have mayors who tend to be a little more focused on being more progressive, and DAs who are more like tough on crime. But that would be the illest collaboration in the entire world. The DA and the mayor, crazy collaboration. We would be able to not prosecute certain crimes in the city just because it's stupid. Because why the hell are we? Like, why are we prosecuting petty larcenies when we have unsolved homicides? Can we prioritize, please? Can we prioritize and focus on the things that we need to resolve in the city, as opposed to focusing on protecting Walmart's property, as we previously discussed? Guys, that would be a really, really good DA. But let's see, I was told, so somebody said it other than me. I keep missing the comments, guys. I suck at this. I always look for names. I said that in the comments on my last live. What, DA? That's why I mentioned mentor. It would be nice to have someone who's already been down the path I want. DA. Oh my God, guys. I think the DA is by far one of the most powerful people in the county. And you don't know that because you don't know how much crime people get away with. You have no idea how much crime goes unprosecuted in this community and how crazy some of it is. And you think when I say how much crime, it's like, oh, well, your friends get away with DWI, or your friend got away with, his kid bought coke, or no. I mean murders. I mean dead people. I mean, you have no idea how much heinous shit people can get away with in Rochester if they're properly connected. And that all goes to the DA, who essentially controls the police and the entire district attorney's office. And because of that, in some instances, I would say arguably judges and or some defense attorneys. The DA is very powerful. Very powerful. And you can use that power for evil, right? And send everyone to prison forever, even when you know that they're innocent. Or you can use it for good and actually try to do something about violent crime, which is problematic, I think everyone agrees, as opposed to stupid crime. But having said all of that, I am absolutely tired, I think. And why? I don't know, I'm so sleepy at 9 o'clock. But I'm going to, because I can't read the comments on here either. I can't have a conversation with you guys. So it makes it a little bit boring for me to talk to myself for a long time. So I'm going to go read the comments and probably respond to you in writing and go to bed. I hope that you guys have a much more turned Friday than I do. There's a reggae concert tonight if you're looking for something to do. I am not doing that. If you do it, please be safe and take care of yourself and be aware of your surroundings and take care of the people that you see around you, because no one is coming to save us. We have to save each other. And even better than saving each other, if we take care of each other from the beginning, we may not have to save one another, right? Anyways, super sleepy. Love you guys all. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.